Good morning, y'all. So, I hope everyone has had a good week. I have had a really exciting week. I launched my not Talkin Tarot, that's what we're doing right now, my Embodied Tarot course on Tuesday. And it was so awesome to get really into teaching tarot in the way that I experience it to other people. And we've been having some amazing conversations in that class and in our private group that we have. And there's been some wonderful questions coming up that have been giving me some ideas of things to talk about, because these are things most people, if you are working with tarot as a practice, these are things that you're going to run into. So, get your coffee, get your tea, get your golden milk. We're going to talk about what happens when you pull a card that you just don't connect with. Even if it's in a deck that you really do connect with, there's usually going to be one or two cards for whatever reason that you look at them and it's hard to read them, okay? And I've already talked about other things we can do, like trying to put yourself in the card. But one card in particular that I know a lot of people struggle with, I'm going to use this as our example today, is the Hierophant. Okay, and he's in more standard tarot decks, like the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and this is the Dreaming Way Tarot, which I really like this deck, but he's portrayed as this Pope-like religious figure. And I know a lot of people have issues, rightfully so, with organized religion. A lot of my friends grew up in the church and have had, a parting of ways, or just this figure that looks like this dogmatic religious authority can actually evoke a lot of resistance in people because of their own experiences with Christianity. So here's this card, here's this guy, and you can try to put yourself in the card, but if you're having a whole lot of resistance, or if it's hard to get past what that card represents to you, that's what we're going to talk about. You can also do this with cards that, like, let's say, again, it's just like you pull a card and it has like 2 pentacles on it, and there's not much information to work with. Like, you're just kind of like, okay, I see 2 circles on this card, or 2 stars, or 2 coins. But here we go. Here's the Hierophant. A lot of people are like, I can't really, it's a major arcana card. So that means it's one of the 22 cards in tarot that represents really big energy. So this is a card we really should take the time to understand, because it's got a lot of layers to it. So when you pull a card in a deck and you're not really connecting with it, one of my recommendations is to look up that same card in other decks, because we live in a day and age where there are thousands of tarot decks, thousands of representations of this energy, of this figure, of this archetype. And so you can, with the touch of a button, like from your phone, from whatever device you're watching this on, you can look up a lot of other representations of the Hierophant. So I'm going to show you just from 2 other decks representations of the Hierophant that I resonate with more than like a very like Pope-like Christian figure. One of them is in the Serpent Fire Tarot deck, the Hierophant. It shows not just a central figure, it's got 2 men meditating, both connecting to this greater wisdom, third eyes lit up, seated in meditation, which requires discipline, and then these hands forming mudras that look more feminine coming up from below. Okay, good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Elena. Y'all's conversations have definitely inspired my talk today, so thank you. My hair is crazy, y'all. I also have to pause about the Hierophant and say my amazing sister gave me a makeover yesterday, but she like made my hair kind of curly and then put a bunch of gunk in it. And then I got home really late, so I just went to sleep. And when I woke up today, like, this is my hair. So it's fabulous. I did wash all the makeup off my face, but I can post a picture later if you want to see how fabulous I actually looked yesterday for our fireworks hanging out time. Wow, that feels like, yay! I'm so glad, Nicole. This feels like what you were just asking. Look how the universe just like hands you what you're needing. Unless you were asking about, oh my gosh, how do I get my hair to look super crazy? Don't think that's what you're asking. So, the Hierophant in the Serpent Fire Tarot. I mean, I've been meditating since I was 12. I've studied world religions. I really am drawn to the more Eastern practices and philosophies. So this card speaks to me more than this card, right? It doesn't have to be a Christian religious figure, okay? The Hierophant represents like the energy of a high priest. There is a masculine energy with this card, but masculine doesn't even have to be male. It is more the energy of the yang, the assertiveness, the action. This isn't saying that women don't possess that. We all possess both masculine and feminine energies, and we express them in different ways and in different strengths at different times. So the Hierophant is just speaking to the more masculine or yang energy within us, okay? And there are times that these cards, you can use them to represent other people in your life, but the way I approach tarot is from this very personal embodied space. So right now I'm going to talk about the Hierophant as it would relate to you. So if you pull this card and you're like, wait, what? I don't really connect with that. Well, let's look at some other ways the Hierophant might be represented. That might help you understand your own cards more, because tarot it's symbols. We're just working with symbols. And if you have a card in your deck you're not connecting with, it's a good idea to take a little time, just like if you're dating someone and you really like them for the most part. Like, here's this deck you really like. A lot of times it gives you really good information and insight and awareness. You enjoy spending time with it. Imagine it's like a person, but then there's this like one part of them you're just like, wait, what? I don't get that. Do you throw out like the whole person? I mean, depending on what that thing is, you might. But do you like stop dating that person because there's like one part that you don't understand or don't get or that triggers something in you? Or do you kind of try to see it in a different way? So do that with your tarot cards, like date them, get to know them, and like find other ways of looking at this thing that isn't working, because otherwise you're gonna stop using a practice that's actually really helpful or discard a deck that might have a lot of information and awareness to offer you. So here's the Hierophant in my Voyager Tarot deck. This is like, there's a lot going on here because it's like a collage deck, but you'll see this Buddha figure, the moon, there's all kinds of stuff, okay? See all of that going on, flowers, big temples, an Egyptian temple over here, a big carved Buddha over here, mountains, an elephant with tusks, all kinds of stuff, okay? So we have these different representations of the Hierophant. Oh, Ayana, thank you. I love you too. I'm glad you think my hair looks cute. Hello, good morning, Kelby, as well. So we're talking about the Hierophant and ways you can look at it differently, because luckily we live in a day and age where you can just find a million other representations of the Hierophant. So rather than just reading about the card and like trying to read a bunch of layers into this image that just isn't speaking to you, actually find images that bring out more of the layers. Because if we don't do that, we're just staying in our intellectual brain, we're just staying in our analytical brain, and we're not engaging our intuition as fully when we do that. And we want to make reading tarot an embodied, intuitive experience. So if you are having a card you're not connecting with, it is important that you actually find images of that card in other decks that you can connect with. It's not that you have to go out and buy that deck, it's just you sit with that image and feel into it and let that association carry over, so that the next time you pull this card, you might even come back to this card and see things in this card that that connect. Like this guy is seated. He's not in full meditation pose, but he's definitely in a meditative space. So there's similar. Do you see the similarities in these cards? The trees back here with the light right here. Similar. See the similarities here, right? So you can start to, even here, this guy has a big hat with a cross on it. The Buddha has a big crescent moon over his head, all right? There's similarities even in the structure of the card, that mountain-like shape here, okay? An upward pointed triangle, that is representative of the masculine or yang. And both cards take that kind of shape. So even looking at it further back, when you can't pick out the details, you can see the shapes in the cards are the same. And so when you spend time looking at these different images, you actually can cross-reference in your mind the next time you pull a card in your own deck that in the past you didn't connect with. You might start to see things in it that you didn't see before because you've taken the time to get to know this energy in a new way. I hope that's making sense. I think that these are just things I do. Like the stuff I'm teaching, a lot of it doesn't come from any class. I didn't take a class in tarot. I'm completely like self-taught and self-studied. What I have taken classes in is critical thought, in meditation, in how to enhance my own intuitive understanding of the world and how to connect with these deeper senses. I'm going through a deep training right now in primal movement and conscious embodiment. So, but I didn't actually study tarot. My tarot stuff is completely self-taught, and I'm just trying to offer what works for me. It might not work for you. This isn't stuff that is taught in most tarot classes. So if it's not working, let me know. Let me know, like, hey, Leah, what you're saying does not make sense to me. But I am sharing the things that have helped me and that work for me and the way I have built my own fluency and fluidity and deep connection to these cards. These are things I've done. I've worked with multiple decks. I've looked at lots and lots of images of these cards, especially the major arcana. And I wouldn't overwhelm yourself. I would start with just one card at a time and really get to know it. And over time, it builds this library. It builds this lived experience of all the cards. So today's talk is going to be a little short, but it's important. It's juicy. And I encourage you to find a card that you're not connecting with and try this out, and then let me know. Like, let me know what the card is. Show me the card in your deck. Send me the picture. Post it in the comments here. I'm also going to put this video up on my new YouTube channel. And then let me know how your awareness or understanding of the card expanded or didn't when you looked at other images and really engaged with other representations that are very different from the one you're familiar with. And you can use Instagram, you can use Google Images, you can find, it's easy to find lots of other pictures of cards from different decks. So thank you, Ayana. I'm glad the advice is helpful, or maybe something new that you haven't heard before, because I didn't want to waste time putting a bunch of the same information out. I'm excited. I like this stuff, and I like really helping people connect with the cards. I'm probably gonna go take a shower now and do something about my crazy hair. Mwah! Have a great day. You're doing this now, Kelby. I love it. I love it. Y'all are amazing. I think you guys are awesome. Yes, we're getting new info out. And share it with people. I mean, you don't want to share my video, just like when you're talking with people. You can share my video. I'm not saying don't. But really just like, I just got lit up a month ago with this stuff. It's like people need these tools and resources. So when you're talking about readings with people and they're struggling, if people reach out to you and they're asking you like, I just don't connect with this card, then let them know. They can look it up in other decks. I always thought that different decks literally meant different things. Thank you for sharing that. a lot of people think that. They don't. Some decks are designed so differently that it can seem like they mean different things, but if you are working with tarot cards, no matter how different the decks are, no matter how different the descriptions seem, tarot always has 78 cards that represent set energies, okay? And different people do interpret those differently, but if it's tarot as opposed to oracle decks, now all oracle decks are different. Every oracle deck is different from each other. But within the system of tarot, there are 22 major arcana cards and 56 minor arcana cards. And there should be some correlation. There should be a good bit of correlation between what one deck means, even when it looks like this, and what another deck means, even when it looks like this or something totally different. So it is important that you find a deck whose images you connect with. Now, if every card in your deck you're like, ugh, I don't connect, ugh, I don't connect, ugh, I don't connect. Yes, there are ways of connecting more that I teach people, but my first and best and always most important tarot tip is to find a deck whose images you really love and feel something with. So start there and then build your understanding of tarot from a deck that lights you up, that speaks to you, that you really engage with those images. That's so, so, so important. Alrighty? Okay, have a great day, guys. Mwah! Love y'all. Bye.